The Vorthari Confederacy prided itself on its gladiator arenas, brutal blood sports broadcast across star systems where the galaxy's fiercest warriors clashed in savage displays of dominance. So when they acquired Earth's most infamous convict, it was hailed as a marketing coup. No one remembered his real name anymore. He was simply known as the Butcher of Titan, locked away for atrocities that made even hardened soldiers flinch. Earth's leaders offered no objections when the Vorthari requested him. One less problem on a prison planet, one more corpse in the arena. But what the Vorthari failed to grasp was that Earth didn't just exile a criminal, they offloaded a problem they could no longer contain. The moment the gate slammed open and the first champion lunged, something changed. The crowd expected a short fight. They got a massacre. 10 champions, each genetically enhanced, battle-trained, and undefeated, fell within minutes. No weapons, no tricks. Just a silent, calculated storm of violence. And as the last body hit the sand, the Vorthari crowd sat stunned, realizing too late. Earth hadn't sent them a prisoner. It had sent them a warning. The Vorthari Confederacy had one unchallenged reputation in the galaxy. They owned the most brutal, most watched, and most profitable gladiator arenas known to intelligent life. From their crimson-sanded coliseums on Hao, the molten moon of Varnock, to their asteroid-mounted blood domes in the Vale sector, these alien overlords hosted death matches that transcended culture. Every champion, every fighter, every kill was entertainment and profit. The arenas had hosted titans from Dregel warbands, six-armed Altheran berserkers, psychic duelists from the Serene Core, even cybernetic beasts bred in the labs of Ruthor, Prime. But the Vorthari yearned for something new, something feral. Then came Earth. Initially, the human species was deemed unremarkable, biologically average, technologically mid-tier, and diplomatically irritating. But after a few minor wars and skirmishes, the galaxy began to whisper about humanity's unpredictability. No two humans fought the same. No two squads behaved the same under pressure. Where other species adhered to training and protocol, humans improvised. They adapted. They endured. So when Earth offered one of its most dangerous prisoners to the Vorthari, it wasn't seen as diplomacy. It was seen as opportunity. The Vorthari had heard whispers of a man so violent that Earth had locked him beneath Titan's ice, far from light or sound. They didn't want a soldier. They wanted a monster. And Earth delivered. No one knew his real name. Earth referred to him in hushed code as Subject Delta 5, but to the interstellar media, he became the Butcher of Titan. Convicted of war crimes, mass civilian casualties, and the unsanctioned annihilation of an alien outpost during peace talks, he was too dangerous to execute, too unpredictable to rehabilitate. They dropped him into a maximum security vault prison deep beneath Saturn's largest moon and erased the access keys until the Vorthari paid a 1 trillion credit transaction, a full diplomatic pardon, and a permanent forfeiture of the human criminal's existence. Delta 5 arrived in stasis, frozen in cryogel, shipped in a reinforced cargo tube that required 3-layered clearance protocols to open. He hadn't moved in years. They assumed his muscles had atrophied. They assumed wrong. The arena was packed. Vorthari nobles in translucent skin suits vibrated in anticipation. Galactic tourists placed bets from orbiting lounges. Stream feeds lit up across 9 star systems. The Vorthari promoted it as The Reckoning. 10 elite Vorthari champions versus 1 unarmed human criminal. The crowd laughed. And the champions? They were no mere warriors. They were bio-enhanced killers. Zarthus, a telepathic tactician with bone blades in each limb. Gravek, a boulder-skinned brute with plasma gauntlets. Silas the Blur, a speedster capable of vibrating through matter. Torun, twins, synchronized killers with neural-linked reflexes. Dreshna, a splicer who manipulated muscle tissue like clay, and others, each a legend. They entered with fanfare. Then the human stepped out. He wasn't large. Not in the way most aliens understood strength. Lean, scarred, and silent, with cold eyes that had seen too much. No armor, no weapons, just a worn jumpsuit, faded by time. At first, nothing happened. The champions waited, mocked him, circled him. He didn't move. Then, Xarthas made the first move, a dart of psychic energy aimed at the human's mind. It never connected. The human had closed the distance. What followed wasn't a fight. It was a correction of assumptions. Xarthas died with his skull caved in before he realized he was in range. The human moved like gravity bent around him, not fast, but efficient. Every movement ended in death. Gravek rushed in next, swinging. Plasma! The human ducked, caught him by the throat, and used his own momentum to snap his neck against a pillar. The crowd went silent. 3 more champions attacked at once, the Tarun twins, Silas and Dreshna. They didn't last 60 seconds. The Torun twins fell trying to flank him. Silas was the only one to land a hit, but the moment he did, the human caught his arm mid-phase and ripped it out of phase with the rest of his body. A scream echoed for miles. Dreshna attempted to melt his muscles. The human simply bit her throat before she finished the neurosplice. The remaining champions hesitated. The human didn't. He advanced, and the arena turned from spectacle to slaughter. The end. The sand was dark. 10 bodies lay broken. The human stood, not panting, not smiling, just still, observing. The Vorthari Emperor watched from the observation box, stunned. His advisors argued about protocol. We cannot allow this to broadcast. We have to explain this. This was not the deal. But the galaxy had already seen it. Billions watched a single human, unaided, destroy the pinnacle of Vorthari combat engineering. The data feeds were already viral. Other empires were taking notes. Because what the Vorthari thought was a criminal, Earth knew as a biological weapon with a broken conscience. Earth never commented. They didn't celebrate. They didn't acknowledge. When asked by an interstellar news network, Earth's diplomat merely replied, "We no longer claim him. What happens beyond Earth is beyond our jurisdiction." But in deep orbit, aboard a derelict human carrier called Oblivion's Edge, a single encrypted file was opened by Black Ops Command. Delta 5, confirmed alive. Combat protocol successful. Subject retained control. Threat level, catastrophic. Conclusion: Earth will never reclaim him. And back in the arena long after the crowds had left, maintenance drones scanned the human's footprints. Where others left tracks, he left scorch marks. Chapter 2. The price of spectacle whispers, of what happened on Varnock spread like radiation across the stars. Entire systems tuned in to replays of Delta 5's destruction. Pirate signals replayed. The footage on repeat. Students in alien military academies debated what they'd do differently. No one had answers. But there were those who saw opportunity. On the industrial mining world of Sephara 9, a private syndicate, known only as the Velis Cartel, opened discussions with mercenary guilds and bioenhancement labs. The goal was simple: acquire or replicate whatever made Delta 5 what he was. If Earth could create such a weapon, others would pay fortunes to do the same. Meanwhile, Delta 5 vanished from known space. Some claimed he stowed away on a derelict Vorthari ship. Others believed he retreated to the human dead zones, uncharted. Territories Earth didn't acknowledge, not even in diplomatic circles. No one had evidence. But the fear lingered. The Confederacy scrambled for control. New combatants were drafted into the arenas, new regulations installed, and old champions reactivated from cryostasis. Still, the numbers plummeted. Viewership declined. For the first time in 1,000 cycles, the Vorthari economy shuddered. And, in the darkest corners of the VoidNet, a new phrase trended: "The Butcher lives." And he's watching. Because for all their pride, for all their power, the galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. Don't give a human a reason. Don't give him a stage. And never ever assume the worst man on Earth isn't worse than your best. Aboard an unmarked ship drifting between communication voids, a lone figure sat in silence. The room was dark. No controls glowed, no life signs registered, just one screen. A single looping replay of the Varnock Arena massacre. Delta 5 leaned forward, elbows on knees, head tilted slightly. And for the first time in years, he smiled. The dead of blood. The silence that followed the last warrior's fall was deeper than death itself. The arena, once a howling beast of bloodlust and hatred, now felt like a graveyard. No cheers, no chants, just 40,000 alien spectators, frozen in disbelief, staring down at the crimson-stained sand where their finest had fallen. And a single human stood, barely winded. Jarek Kale's chest rose and fell slowly. His hands, stained with blood, some his, most not, hung by his sides. His eyes scanned the viewing box high above, where the elite High Council watched in horror. His lips curled into a smirk that wasn't joyful. It was a silent challenge. The Council had expected a spectacle. They'd expected to watch a human suffer. Instead, they'd witnessed a myth come to life. Back in his holding cell, reinforced by layers of neutron iron alloys, Jarek sat calmly on the floor, legs crossed, posture almost meditative. A dozen alien guards watched him from a distance through a triple-layered force field, hands twitching near their energy rifles. "Does he sleep?" one guard whispered. "No," another muttered. "He just waits." The council was in chaos. The surviving members of the Zoran High Elite, representatives from 7 systems, were in emergency session. Not because of military,